Hello and welcome to the Sashjon Diaries. My name is Jen and I am a knitter, and today I am going to go through all the sweaters that I have knit for myself in the last, I think it's been more than a decade. So there's a wide variety of things here. I've been going through my sweaters because I watched, I don't know if you're familiar with Isabella, whose YouTube channel is Breathing Yarn, and she went through how to figure out your style, and there was like 4 videos of finding out like what colors you like best, what aesthetic you like best, and like narrowing things down to what you really like and things that you would wear more because you love them so much. I am in my 40s and I have never established like an aesthetic or a style for myself, so I went through those videos and I came up with an aesthetic and everything, and just knowing things that I would feel comfortable in. And so I decided to go through all my sweaters and see like what is really me and what maybe I can give to somebody else, and also reflect on some of the mistakes I've made in my sweater knitting and how I can improve, and then I can approve them. Normally I do videos talking about what I've worked on for the past week and what I've finished and what I'm planning, but today is October 6th and it is supposed to be sweater weather. It is not sweater weather today. We're back up to what, 21 degrees? It's supposed to go up to 24. I don't like it. I live in Atlantic Canada. The summer can be sweltering and humid, and I've been so ready for soup season and just bringing out the cozy knits. So I'm a little disappointed today that the temperature has gone back up. But anyway, I'll see how long this sweater lasts on me. Now, for the most part, when I went through my sweaters, they were all things that kind of reflect my style. I have grown a little bit since knitting some of them. So I don't know whether I'm going to hang on to them for a year, and because I have to get back into physical shape for my job, I might hang on to them for a year and see if they'll fit me in a year's time, and I might keep them, or I might just pass them along because I have more sweaters that I'm going to be knitting. I'm going to start with the first one, and it is a sweater that I knit or finished in May of 2013. I started it as a Malabrigo March project. We were doing there was like a group knit along as part of Malabrigo March, and this was the Ease sweater, or is the Ease sweater, by Alicia Plummer. It was my first ever sweater. It's a top-down raglan, and I do really love the pattern, and I might knit another one, but this one is going to be frogged. Now, before you go in the comments and say, oh, you can fix it this way or fix it that way, because I know with a lot of knitters, there's a knee-jerk reaction to frogging an entire sweater or even any entire project. I find whenever I say I'm going to frog something and reknit it, or frog something and make something else out of it, there's always like somebody who comes up with a solution in the comments, and I'm not looking for a solution. I'm perfectly fine frogging things. I used to have trouble frogging entire projects. I don't anymore. I am both a process and a product knitter. I enjoy the process. I don't mind knitting things over again, or like tinking or frogging way back and fixing things. I feel like I've invested so much money in the yarn, and the time is worth it to get something that you really love. So anyway, so that's my little my little tangent before I show you the sweater. So this one did have a little moth issue. I don't like the neck on it anymore. I liked this style when I was like, how old would I have been then? Was I in my 20s? My late 20s when I knit this. So I did like this style of neck. And yes, I know I can pick it up and make the other neck, because this sweater comes in 2 neck styles. I don't want to. I want to frog it and do something else with this yarn and maybe knit a sweater. That's the other thing too. This was knit out of Malabrigo Rios in the colorway Teal Feather, and it is a very pilly yarn. I'm also finding myself more in like with DK or fingering weight sweaters. As I was putting all the sweaters on to do the little short videos of me wearing the sweaters, I just found I really enjoyed the feel of the fingering weight on my body as well. And like, yes, they take longer to knit, but it's worth the time if you're making something you really love. So anyway, this one is going to be frogged. But yeah, this was the first sweater I ever knit, and I do recommend if you're going to start out trying out knitting a sweater, go with a top-down raglan pattern like this one. Even though I'm frogging this, I do like the pattern. It was really easy to follow, and it was just, you know, at the time, oh, sorry, Piper just bumped the phone stand. At the time, it was something I really enjoyed, but anyway, I'm gonna just go with my style now. So the second sweater that I knit was also an Alicia Plummer pattern, and it is called Sandstones, and it is a very different style of sweater. It's kind of a slip over if you're going to the beach. I knit it out of Barocco Maya, which I believe is discontinued now. I don't think you can get this yarn anymore, but it is meant to be knit with like, this is a cotton alpaca blend, I believe. So it is meant to be knit with like a cotton blend, and it is very summery. It doesn't fit me quite well in the arms anymore, and I'm debating whether to pass this along to somebody who it will fit better. So yeah, I might hang on to it for a year, like I said, and move it on along. I don't think I said when I finished this. I finished this in July of 2015. So there was a little bit of a gap between my sweater knitting. I was knitting sweaters for kids and babies, but yeah, big gap between my two adult sweaters. The next sweater that I knit, I finished in August of 2016, I believe. Yes, August of 2016. And it is called Sea Stones by Melissa Sashwari. I'm thinking I might frog this one. I was never ever super happy with it, and now it really doesn't fit. I don't know if I have anyone in my life who would wear a short sleeve sweater like this in worsted weight. I am not 100% sure. This is another one knit out of Malabrigo Rios. And I love the yarn. I'd like to repurpose it, but like this might be something that stays in my sweater pile for a year, and I see what happens with it. I do have to ponder on that if it's still in the sweater pile next year. I do love the little pockets. I wore this like quite a few times. You can see it's pilled a bit. I wore it quite a few times when it fit me better. When I put it on today to do the video, the buttons really pulled, so I took it back off, and I don't have a video of me wearing it. So it is what it is. We'll see what happens with my health for the next year, because I do have things going on that has to be dealt with. So anyway, so that was the Sea Stones. I think the colorway of this was Comparacita, something like that. But yeah, another Malabrigo Rios. This next sweater is like a staple in my outdoor wear, like especially if I'm going on a search in the wintertime. I'm a search and rescue volunteer, so if I'm going on a search in the wintertime, I would wear this one quite a bit. Or if I had to go up to the do field work in the wintertime for work, this one was, or still is, I should say, still is a staple for that. And it is Flax by Tin Can Knits. Another really great one if you are looking for a first-time sweater. And I mean, you don't have to knit the like garter ridges on the arms if you don't want to, but I did. I like the little bit of texture going on. So this is knit out of Barocco Ultra Alpaca. And I finished this one in January of 2017. And it has gotten a lot of use. It's not as pilled as I thought it would be, but it is a little bit like under the arms. But it is not too bad. But this is a rather excellent sweater that I really enjoy. It's fairly soft. Barocco Ultra Alpaca is a decent yarn, I would say, and quite affordable. But yeah, this one is definitely a keeper, and One that I would probably knit again, actually. So yeah, so that is the Flex by Tin Can Knits. So the next sweater I'm going to talk about is one that I've worn quite often and I do really love, and I just found a hole in it. One that's not supposed to be there because it is a holy cardigan. It is the Campsite Cardi by Alicia Plummer. I finished this one in July of 2017, so I've had it for quite a while. Yeah, the hole is, I just put stitch markers in it. So it is there. I will repair, and it's just in the ribbing, so that shouldn't be too bad to repair. And I think I still have some of this yarn left. So that's going to be fine. This is a cardigan that I just like throw over t-shirts and stuff. I knit this, I don't know if I mentioned, out of Malabrigo Arroyo. And I think the colorway is Azul. But yeah, I would recommend this one. It is a top-down raglan. Most of these sweaters are top-down, I think. All of them are, maybe. No, there's one, I think, that was one or two that was bottom up, I think. Anyway, so yeah, so that is the Campsite Cardi by Alicia Plummer. In need of repair, but it is staying in the family. And up next is another much loved cardigan that I have. It's like a schlanket or something. It's a little different. It is the Veronica cardigan by Shannon Cook. And it has the sleeve holes, like there's no sleeves, there's just holes, and they're way down towards the bottom, and it just cocoons you in just coziness. I knit this out of Cascade 220. Such a durable yarn. I really like this yarn for garments. It seems to hold up really well. I forgot to check when I knit this one. Yeah, 2017. It's got a fair bit of wear, and I don't mean wear as in it's worn. I mean I wore it a lot. It's holding up super well though. Really love this one. Highly recommend. It was just such a simple knit, obviously, because there's not a whole lot to it. You're knitting it, I think you knit it in this direction first, and then you put the shawl collar onto it. But yeah, really enjoy this one. It's one of my favorites, so this one is not going anywhere either. The next one I have is a pullover that is by Heidi Kiermaier, and it is called the Avalanche. And it is a chunky weight sweater, and like I said, I'm not too sure about the chunky weights anymore. I don't know how I feel about them, but I do really love this sweater. I love the lace and cable in the middle. I do I do really like the fabric, other than the fact that it is chunky. This one might go in the maybe pile, I am not sure. It is a little snug on me now, a little snugger than I'd like. I would rather have my sweaters more loose fitting. I think that is why I love the Veronica cardigan, and the sweater I'm wearing right now is because they're so loose fitting. So we'll see. This one, yeah, is definitely in the maybe pile. I knitted at a Cascade Eco Plus, and I finished this one in April of 2020. So it's super quick knit and enjoyable with the lace and cable panel. There's just a plain back, and I just really like the collar, just a regular crew neck collar. This was also top down raglan. As you can see, raglan sleeves. So yeah, so this one is going into the maybe pile for now, I think. And now we're coming to the one that I'm wearing, and this is the Boxy by Joji Locatelli. This one might be my most worn, and like I said, it's probably partially because it's a fingering weight. But I knit this out of Zen Yarn Garden, which you can't get anymore, unfortunately. I absolutely love this pattern. I finished this in, I think, 2020. No, 2021. Finished this one in 2021. I remember it being on the needles for a long time, like it went into timeout, because it is a lot of knitting, but it was a lot of just gentle knitting, like a lot of mindless stockinette. So I think this one might have been bottom up. I can't remember. Not 100% sure, but despite it being on the needles for a long time, it was wonderful to knit. One of the things I forgot to mention is that I'm a little tricky with my armholes. I know I ran into that problem with Ease where first sweater I didn't make the armholes big enough so that they're comfortable. These ones are fine. The Avalanche, they're a little bit tight, I think. And a couple of the Sandshore for sure is a little bit tight. But this one, absolutely love it. Well, like the armholes are like really, they're down here. But even that, like that is not tight. Like there's nothing uncomfortable about this sweater. So anyway, yeah, that is the Boxy by Joji Locatelli. At a certain point in my knitting career, I guess you could call it, I really wanted a cabled rustic cardigan, and so I got some McCausland's Woolen Mills yarn. That is a nice rustic yarn from PEI, and I knit myself this Oben cardigan by Thea Coleman, and here it is. It is all over cables, just cabley goodness. I finished this one in January of 2022, and I wear it quite a bit. This is something I can throw on over a long sleeve t-shirt as if I go for a walk down to the library. In the winter, I can wear it shoveling snow. It is a super rustic, super hardy yarn. It is a little bit scratchy, so I would not wear it next to skin, but it's great for almost like a coat. The collar, I didn't think I was gonna like it, but it's fine. One funny thing about this is that I had buttons made out of antlers that my brother got me in the Yukon, and of course my dog located the sweater and she chewed one of the buttons off, because she really likes to chew antler, and I should have known better than to have this laying around, but you know, I didn't really think she'd be able to sniff out buttons on a cardigan, but here we are. So I got new buttons, and they are metal and they have moose on them, so still antlers but not made of antlers. So, yep, this one is definitely a keeper. I really love this one. Okay, now we're getting into some color work. This was my first experience knitting a colorwork sweater. Not my first experience knitting colorwork. I don't recommend that you start with a sweater because you have to figure out like your tension and stuff. But this is the Humulist by Isabel Kramer. I really like this sweater. I don't know how I feel about the way yokes fit, yet I have another yoke sweater on the needles, so anyway, this one is a little bit more snug than I would like. Sorry, Piper just bumped the phone stand again. I knitted at a Cascade 220. I think this color is either lilac or lavender, I can't remember. It's one of those. And charcoal for the color work. There's no other color work on it. I thought maybe I could have put some on the bottom, but I don't know. But it is, yeah, it's not, I didn't knit it too tight. It's not too bad. But, yeah. I can't remember if this one was the one that was like bottom up, or you knit the color work bottom up, and then there was one where I had a cast on that I had to pick up and go and then knit downwards. I think that was my other colorwork sweater that I'm going to show you in a minute. But yeah, so again, worsted weight sweater. I don't know if I'm going to be knitting that many worsted weight sweaters in my future. I think I have enough worsted weight sweaters for what I need. So yeah, this one is a little bit snug, or snugger than I would like. So this one might go in the pause pile or whatever. The arms, I did pick up extra stitches for the arms, so they're not too tight on this one. So yeah, that is the Humulus. Next is a sweater that I absolutely adore, and I will probably knit another one. It is the Love Note by Tin Can Knits. And I knit this one out of Lizzie Ann yarns, which you cannot get anymore, unfortunately. It's like Toasted Marshmallow, I think is the colorway, something like that. And I enjoy wearing this over dresses. So, yeah, like like when I put this on, it feels like I'm not wearing anything, and yet it is super warm. It is the Lizzie Ann yarns held with, I think it was Tin Silk, Sandisk and Tin Silk mohair. And I made it cropped. This is like the first of my actually like cropped sweaters. I have a second one there that I will talk about, but yeah, lovely lace in the yoke. Just, yeah, one of my favorite sweaters. And you know, like I said, it's a fingering weight, so it's kind of more what I'm looking for right now. And I was careful to pick up more stitches in the armholes again, so I'm improving. I'm getting a little better. So yeah, this one gets a lot of wear. When did I finish this one? February of 2024. And yeah, this one has my heart. Another sweater that I really wanted was a Lopi sweater. So again, something for throwing on while I shovel the driveway, or can throw on in the wintertime. Not next to skin, because this yarn is fairly scratchy. I think it'll soften up over time. I haven't really had it that long, just since October. Yeah, October 2024. So last October. It's only a year old. It might soften up as I wear it. It is a little more snug than I would like, but we'll see how that goes. But this is the Wintersol by Jennifer Steingass, and I did knit it out of Let Lopi yarn. I can't remember what the colors are, but it has Colorwork on the sleeves and on the bottom. And yeah, I think this is the one where you cast on here and work up, and then you have to knit downward after. So, yeah, really enjoy this in theory. I don't know that yoke sweaters fit me that great, but when it comes to them, like this one and the Humulus, I don't really need it to look fashionable. I need it to be functional. So I spend a fair bit of my time out of doors, so it's really important to me to have garments that function out there. So this one I think will be perfect for this winter. I'm going to try it. Last year I injured my knee, so since I knitted this, I had a knee injury and I wasn't as active last winter. It's still not completely healed, so I'm going through like getting an x-ray and all that stuff through my doctor and figuring out what's wrong with it and if anything can be done with it. But it doesn't hurt that much, so I can walk a bit. So I might do some snowshoeing this winter and wear this. So anyway, yeah, that's the plan. So I have one more sweater left, and then I also have a poncho that I will show because I consider that a garment as well. So the last sweater I have to show is the warm-up sweater by Espace Tricot. And this is another cropped one. I kind of debated adding more length to it because I have more yarn. But when I put it on today, I'm like, no, like it can go like just below my bust line. I don't like, some of that is like fashionable right now. But this is one I want to wear over dresses as well. So right now I have two, I think, crop sweaters to wear over dresses. This was knit out of Drops Air. I finished it last March. And I was actually expecting the yarn to be way pillier than it is, and it's not that pilly. So I can throw this on over a dress if I'm going to like the theater or whatever in the fall and early winter. And I keep petting it. It's so freaking soft. This is another one that I can throw on and it doesn't feel like I'm wearing anything. And despite the fact that it is not fingering, it kind of, like, the gauge is tight. So it's really not that heavy. It's not that thick. Just as easy top down raglan. I might knit another one of these and make a long one for, and like oversized. I think this would be a nice oversized sweater. So yeah, so that was just finished last March. I didn't get a whole lot of wear out of it because it was like at the end of the winter, but it will get more this year. The last thing I'll show you is the Korean poncho. Oh, I'm blanking on the designer's name right now, but she's the Meaningful Stitch here on YouTube. And she has a few really nice little, she's Scottish, very enjoyable. I really liked knitting this. I like wearing it. I throw it on in my house when I don't want to turn the heat on and it's kind of cold in the house. It's just nice thing to throw over to keep me warm. And I knit this out of another discontinued yarn. It is a, oh, I can't remember the name of that yarn. Sugarbush Rapture is what this yarn is. I think it is a worsted weight. Yeah, it's a worsted weight. But just a great little poncho for cozy nights in when you don't want to turn the heat way up, which I never do. I never want to turn the heat up. Listen, in this economy, why would I turn the heat up? So that is everything. If you would like to follow along with me as I knit more sweaters, I have a vest that I'm working on right now. I have a halibut on the needles, and then I have a cat sweater queued up. And yeah, more yoked sweaters, but fingering, so fingering in DK. So yeah, you can subscribe. I try to get on here about once a week. I am the Stash Jam Diaries on Instagram if you want to follow me there, and I will have my Ravelry link down below. So that is all my sweaters. I also have videos on my favorite socks, not all the socks I ever knit, but my favorite socks and my favorite hats so far. So we'll see what other categories I can come up with. But right now I thought it was timely to do the sweater one because we're just getting into the sweater weather. Anyway, all right, it is time to take Piper for a WALK. So I will see you in the next one. Take care.